Welcome. This is Sherry Bowers with Connected Spirit, Connected Biz New Year's Spotlight Series. And today I've got Lorraine Lane with me. And so glad you could take some time to chit chat. Um, so for those that don't know you, a lot of people on my list probably already do, and if they don't, they should. So tell us a little bit of like how you got started in your work because I think it makes it real for people.
Okay. So at the time, I was employed in my wonderful career job, which I expected to retire from. High tech industry, 15 years. Woke up one Monday morning and my manager said we'd all been laid off overnight. That was a surprise. And so then what was I going to do to put food on the table, right? So it was a time of big downturn in the economy and I couldn't find a job. 20 years later, I say I still haven't found a job, but I love what I do. And I accidentally started a business. Um, so it helps me, I think, when I'm working with my clients that I can spot the mistakes right away because I made them all.
Right? That's how it usually goes. Yeah.
So I said, don't do what I did, to build your business. There's a faster, better, easier way. And so that's what I do with my clients is help them get those pieces in place that are so important for you to have a successful business.
Mm. Yeah, we're going to dive into that in a little bit. Um, so you work with business owners. Who mainly do you work with? Do you have like what's your target market?
My target market is business owners who are now it kind of morphed a little bit. People who went through COVID and had their business come to a halt, which is what I experienced because my business was mainly in person. And I had to figure out a way to get my business online. And happy to have found you to help me do that. And that now it's morphing into a hybrid model, right? With online, in person. And so we're having to do that dance if we're going to stay in the game. And I'm noticing that small business owners are like, what? I need to do all this stuff and then I need to do all that stuff. So they're in this confusion, like, where do I go to find my target?
Yeah.
What do I do? I'm posting like mad on Facebook and not getting any traction. Maybe your target market isn't on Facebook. So those are those are the people that I love to work with. I call it driving down 5 lanes at the same time. Well, you're not going to win the race doing that, right? So got to find your lane and got to find the way to market yourself and get your message out there so it gets heard.
Yeah. And I love that analogy of like the race car, right? Staying in your lane or, really focusing on, what you want your end goal to be, kind of, where's that finish line for you?
Right.
And that's a powerful thing. I always, my version of that was always like, pick a horse and ride it. I forget who told me that originally, and it just stuck. It was like, yeah, pick a horse and ride it, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Because
Yeah.
if you keep, doing these fits and starts, it's really hard to get some momentum going.
Right.
Um, so let's talk about what do you actually do? What's your and that's I've watched that change and grow, and it's just so exciting to see. So share with everybody what your services actually are, um,
Okay.
and how they can help them.
Right, right. So what I'm noticing with my clients is that they're kind of hiding, talk about what their product is, what they do, but where are they? And so I'm helping my clients now self-promote. And when I say that to them, what are you doing to self-promote? Oh my God, you know, I can't brag about, yes, we need to brag about our business and find the way to do that so that you're not annoying and people
Yeah.
people don't run away when they see you coming, right? So how do you do that in a way that promotes you and has people want to know more?
Hmm.
Knowing how to self-promote is hugely important because that's what marketing is.
Yeah.
Marketing is self-promotion, promotion of your business. So that's, I love doing that with business owners. I just had a class last night where we talked about that and I could see the light go on, like how to do that, how to talk about yourself and your business.
Yeah. Because I think, so many of us, especially women, I think, we've been raised like, oh, that's not polite. Oh, don't brag about yourself. Oh, you're get too big for your britches. Blah, 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 right? And there is that, but you have to do some of that,
Mhm.
like not, and like you said, not in an obnoxious way, but nobody's gonna get out there and promote you the way you can,
Oh, that's right.
you know, and I see that I think, we've especially in the online space, I think a lot of people think, oh, well, all I need to do is post. All I need to do is have a website. All I need to do, and it's just going to magically happen,
Mm-mm.
which
Mhm.
it doesn't, So
Right.
it's a such an important skill and a challenging one for a lot of people. Um,
Right. You touched
yeah.
on something for me. It's like posting quotes or pictures of your dinner are not promoting you and your business, right? So there's a time and a place for that, but that's not marketing your business. So um, knowing how to promote without being salesy. I mean, there's a lot of parameters here, and there's a way to do it right, and there's a way to unmarket yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I love that term because that just is exactly what happens,
Yeah.
and lots of times without you even like really realizing it. And then you're like, oh crap.
And then once it's out there, you can't take it back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yep.
lives on forever.
Yeah. Totally different concept than, when we grew up, right?
Yes.
Um, so tell everybody a little bit about what the free gift you have for everybody because they
So
need to go get it.
it's a list of ways to self-promote your business. And I'll share some of the ways. One of the ways is to be able to share success stories. Like if you brag on a client who did something, you're actually bragging about how you helped them do that, right?
Yeah.
So you're promoting both of you, your client and the results that you were able to have them achieve. So being able to tell a good story is a way of self-promotion. And another way is to look at social media as a way of connecting, right? And making those connections carefully. And so you serve both people. You're
Yeah.
connecting and you're the connector. And so you're promoting yourself um being someone who serves
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
saying, but your actions are speaking for you, right? Another way is speaking engagements, right? Being able to get up, speak in a way that adds value and
Hmm.
gives people something. So I'm doing that with a couple of people in a networking group that I facilitate, helping people to speak and provide value for people and also draw attention to what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's an important thing. Um, Self-promotion happens with networking events, and when I started my business, networking events was like, oh, please, no way do I want to go.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it was like,
Yeah, yeah, it's still that way, actually. But
yeah.
I developed some tricks to help myself through that.
Yeah.
And so if you see networking as a way of providing help to other people, a way of showing up
Hmm.
and not selling like I do this and my product is the best in the whole wide world, right?
Hmm.
Using network as a way of just showing up and seeing how you can help other people.
Yeah.
And that really helped me when I was networking because I wanted to do anything but go into the room where I knew no one, right?
Right?
I could think of a million things I could do other than that.
Right.
Uh, but when I developed a way of um, taking the attention away from myself,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you've heard my story of I went into this one networking event where I wanted to turn around and go home, but I had driven 40 minutes to get to this networking event. So I sat in my car and I thought, I could be doing something really constructive, so let me go do that. And then I thought, no, I'm here. So I thought, I'm going to find the person who's more uncomfortable than me. And once I find him, I can go home. Okay. So I walked in, knew no one, and I saw this guy way over across the room holding up the door jam. And I thought, that's my guy.
Right?
So, and he was well dressed, but standing up against the door. So I walked over to him and I said, I have a goal to find the person who's more uncomfortable than me at this meeting. And I think I found him. He goes, yes, ma'am. So it turned out he was there because he had to go to two networking events before he worked with his counselor who was helping him find another job because he'd been laid off by FedEx.
Hmm.
So I said, oh, so you're here because you got to check off. And he goes, yeah. So then I said, come tomorrow to the same place. There's a meeting here of HR managers. Come as my guest and you'll have your two meetings. Like, oh, okay. And I thought, he's not coming.
Right.
He came
Uh-huh.
and he sat at my table and there were 10 of us. And so we were all, supposed to introduce ourselves. And so he said he'd been laid off and what his job had been. And one of the HR people across the table said to him, I need your resume. I've been looking for you.
And that's how it's done.
And he was hired by that company, a bigger job than what he had at FedEx, which said to me, what if I had turned around and gone home?
Yeah. Yeah.
That connection would not have happened, right?
Yeah.
And so it was a lesson to me. It's not about you, sweetie.
Yeah.
It's about how you can serve other people, right?
Yeah.
So that's has softened the edge for me on going to networking events. Like
Yeah.
who needs something, right?
Yeah.
So that's a way of self-promotion, right?
And I love that because it like you said, it takes, it creates a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
I've always been more interested in that than the competition feeling, like I want,
Yes.
yeah. And I know in my business, I hadn't taken it into the networking concept, but I love that too. But I know for me personally, whenever I would get really stuck in my business, it was usually because I was all in my head and I was focusing on me, right? And the minute I would shift that to like, okay, let's just forget about that. You're all stressed out. Just like, who can you help?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
then and then things would flow again. So it's like, okay, it's not about you.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing is, and it sounds a little silly, but applying for awards. There are awards that are given out for small businesses. Chambers give out awards and that sort of thing. And so when I belonged to a chamber, I filled out the form, never expecting that I would get Business of the Year, right? But the executive director made me do it because I was on the board of directors.
Right.
And so, and drawing attention to my son saying, that my business deserved an award, but the chamber people, membership did the voting, not me.
Hmm.
And it was a, oh, that I had been recognized for the contributions that I made and so on. So it was, it was a nice feeling. It was a
Yeah, a
nice,
little validation from the outside that,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So applying for an award, if you think I am deserving as the other people, right?
Hmm.
So, it, that's important. That's
Yeah.
promoting. The other thing that small business owners struggle with is branding. Your branding. We know the Nike swoosh, just do it, right? We know what they stand for. You need to stand for something
Yeah.
and don't have to have the $1 million advertising budget, but that people need to recognize you.
Yeah.
They need to know you and what you stand for. That's
Hmm.
a critical piece of marketing and
Yeah.
self-promotion. So those are some things that, are useful, and keeping it in mind, it's a good thing to do. It's a good thing to do.
Yeah. Awesome. And I love the fact that you're giving people lots of ideas so that, because there's, I think we get stuck in thinking, oh, there's only like one way to do it, or I've got to do it this way because they said so. And it's like, no, no, no. Find what fits, find what you're most comfortable with to start with, because then you'll get more comfortable with other things. So
Yeah. So
awesome.
20 suggestions in the PDF that I'm doing out, and you can't do them all at once, but think what is the easiest thing for me to do now? Get comfortable with that and then keep building, because no one else is going to self-promote you,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And I drank that Kool-Aid when I first started my business, that, oh, all the people at this networking meeting are going to be your sales force. Oh, no, they're there to sell their
Yeah.
own business and their products and services. That took me a while to get that. Um, but if you don't do it, then
Yeah. Nobody's
who
doing it.
else? Right, right.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I thought I could get away with other people doing that work, but no.
We would like we all wish, but yeah.
Yeah, that was that was
Awesome, awesome. Well, thanks so much for sharing and kind of letting everybody get to know you a little bit better. Um, Anybody watching the video, the link for that freebie is going to be in the description if you're watching it on my channel, or if you're seeing it inside the giveaway event, it'll be right there. You need to go get it. So with that, thanks for being on, and we'll see everybody on the next spotlight. Thanks.
I